Transportation Commission regular meeting, January 14th, 2025 at approximately 8:38. I want to let you know that a 125 comments. If not, what is the pleasure of this commission? We have a motion from Commissioner Chenoweth to approve the agenda. Do I have a second? Second by Commissioner Tonjes. All in favor? Opposed? That carries unanimous. You had a chance to review the minutes of the special meeting of December 14th, 16th, 2024. Is there any comments, additions, deletions? If not, what is the pleasure of this commission? We have a motion. Second by Commissioner McElroy. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That carries unanimously. Before we go into the introductions, if we can get our play over here. Came in from Vegas this morning and the roads were clear. They were wet, but they were clear, and nothing we can do about the wet. So you guys did a great job, and I want to, on behalf of the commission, commend you for the job not only that you do today, but each and every storm and each and every day. So with that, thank you. Before I go on to introduce elected officials, I just want to thank Los Alamos for hosting us here today. It's a great facility, and we're very, very thrilled to be here in Los Alamos, and we appreciate the hospitality, and we appreciate being here. We also want to, we have a new commissioner with us today, and I'll go ahead and introduce him, and then he can speak himself when we get to commission members. But with that, I am going to go ahead and turn it over to Secretary Serna for the elected officials.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think we have a couple elected officials that signed up. I want to recognize them. I believe we have it. I'm looking for him. I don't see him, but we have Mayor John Ramon Vigil from my hometown and of Espanola. Mayor, are you in the room?
Not yet, sir.
Not yet? Okay, well, him and Eric Lujan, the city manager from the city of Espanola, are expected to be here.
I had seen Eric earlier. Is Eric here?
Oh, there's Eric. All right. How you doing, Eric? Thanks for being here. Hopefully the mayor can join us a little bit later, but appreciate all that you do. And then if I can, we have some, Los Alamos County is home to a couple of former DOTers. Thomas Wyman, who's in the back, was with our general counsel's office, and I saw him earlier today. Justin Gibson, previously our D3, or he's back there too. There you go, our D3 district engineer here with Los Alamos County. It's good to see them, and thank you for being good host to us. Mr. Chairman, that's what I have so far.
I also want to recognize Habib. You want to stand up, Habib? Habib? There you go. Just to say hi. It's good to see you here. And I also want to recognize Anthony. Where's Anthony? Thank you for being here. Anthony was here. He was the deputy of operations, and I worked under him for many years, and great guy. Glad to see both of you here, and we appreciate your attendance.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, I do believe we also have the county manager here as well, right? From Los Alamos County. Please stand up, introduce yourself.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Juan Rael, Deputy County Manager for Los Alamos County. I wanted to welcome everybody to Los Alamos. So thrilled to have the commission here. Anything we can do to make your stay more enjoyable.
Thank you. We got a list going. We'll let you know.
All right.
Son. So with that, we'll go on. And if that's it, and at that point, if anybody that has been introduced wants to come up here and say a couple of words, you're more than welcome. Okay, so with that, we'll go ahead and move on to your secretary or staff.
Mr. Chairman, I want to introduce our district engineer. Start off with our district engineer, starting with District 1, Mr. Aaron Chavarria. District 2, Francisco Sanchez. District 3, Paul Brasher. Adam Romero in District 4. Thank Rhonda for hosting us. We're here in District 5. And Lisa Vega in District 6. Here on our left, of course, starting with Cindy Vigue, who you'll hear from in just a little bit, Federal Highways. Steve Hamilton, our General Counsel. Jessica Cooper, Deputy Secretary. And Mo Mobed, Deputy Secretary. Thank you all for being here.
Now move on to commission members. And before we start, I'll go ahead and then I'll have Commissioner McElroy say a couple of things about himself. I think we're very blessed, and I think to have Commissioner McElroy join the commission. He's part of the NMDOT family. He was here for 28 years. I first met John back in, I want to say in the 80s, early 80s. He had just got a first project up in Roy. He was the project engineer, and then he went to Vegas, and I worked under him as a lead inspector there and on many projects. And then from there, he became the construction engineer there in District 4. Then he became the maintenance engineer there in District 4, and then he became the district engineer. And I had many opportunities to work with him, and also as an employee. His most recent, before he retired, he was the District 5 district engineer. And so I want everybody to welcome him, and he's going to bring a lot of great value. I know he knows a lot of you that are here. Some of you worked with him, but his expertise is invaluable in knowledge. So with that, we'll start there, and Commissioner, I'll let you go ahead.
Thank you, Walter, for those kind words. Like Walter said, I was a member of this department for 28 years, retired in 09. The last 7 being the district engineer, District 5. This district, kind of came up through the ranks in District 4 and District 5. I think probably worked 16 years in District 4 in the Vegas District, and probably around a little over 10 years in District 5 as a construction engineer and district engineer. Graduated from New Mexico State University in 1981 with a bachelor's in civil engineering. I'm a native of Las Vegas, New Mexico. Went back there when I worked with the department, and like Walter said, the district engineer asked me to come, or wanted me to pull me out of the training program early because he needed some help in some of the areas, and one of the places he wanted me to go to kind of take over for a project manager that was going to retire the next year and a half. And that place was the big city of Roy, New Mexico, Roy, America. Drove in there on the 1st of February with a 1.5 foot of snow on the ground there, so that was quite an introduction to the district there. And I was there for 2 years, and then moved to Las Vegas. Was the project manager there for about 5 years, and then came up to the district, eventually becoming the maintenance engineer. And then in the mid-90s, I moved to District 5 for 3.5 years as a construction engineer. Worked with the lead there, and some other people in the district, and some of the people that may still be in this room here. Corey's still around. Talked to him a while ago. And then went back to District 4 for a couple of years. It's kind of as the maintenance engineer and construction engineer, kind of split the duties there. And then went back to District 5 as a district engineer and finished it out. And then over the last 15 years or so, worked for various people in the private sector, and then kind of did some things on my own too there in Cruces, some different things. Have 2 children. They're both millennials. One's 35 years old, and the other one's 33. My daughter's a producer for a news station in Dallas, Texas, the Dallas metro area. My son works for Kimley Horn. He graduated as a civil engineer from New Mexico State, and he's been with Kimley Horn for 10 years and works in the Dallas metro area also. So they live 10 minutes apart, and we live 10 hours apart from them. And he has a couple young children, so we've got the grandchildren, so that draws us over there more than it draws us to see them. But anyway, Walter talked to me a little bit after Thanksgiving about the possibility of doing this. I told him, well, I never thought of this, thought of doing something like this, the commission. And I said, give me a little time to think about it. And over about a week or so, I finally said, well, I'll do it and see how it works out. And so we're here, and based on people I've met, I mean, the department still has high quality people, and trying to do the best we can. That's what you got to do every day, is get up in the morning and do the best you got. It may not be good enough for that day, but it's a lot of days it is. So, and that's kind of, I've always believed, and I think we've got a pretty good district engineer down there in a good district, and we'll see how it goes. But thank you, and glad to be back.
Thank you, John.
And I gotta thank John, because I wouldn't be here today, not because of anything. I was talking to him yesterday, and I told him I wasn't going to come up till the day of the meeting. And so I said, when we were hanging up, I said, I'll see you Thursday. And he said, no, the meeting's on Tuesday. And I said, Tuesday? So I had gotten my agenda and had the dates. I never looked at the dates, and I just thought they had moved that up a week to Thursday, so I was anticipating Thursday. So as soon as I got off the phone, I double-checked everything, and had I not known, I wouldn't even have been here today. So I gotta thank John for that. So, Commissioner Tonjes.
Good morning. My name is Gary Tonjes, and District 2 represents Southeast New Mexico. I live in Ruidoso. The last 4 years coming out of Albuquerque, which is where I spent the majority of my career.
Good morning, I'm Helmut Scheinowith. I'm the Commissioner for District 3, which is the Albuquerque metro area. It is the smallest of the districts, but I will guess it's maybe the busiest for our staff. So I want to thank everybody. Also, as Walter said, my drive from Albuquerque this morning was wonderful. So thank you for everyone who worked on those roads.
I'm Tom Taylor. I'm from Farmington. That's the Four Corners, for those of you who don't know. I actually live in the state of Azimenco, because we're connected in Arizona as much as we are with New Mexico. Anyway, it's an interesting place. I represent District 5, which is really a large district because it crosses all the way across the north. Includes Taos, here in Los Alamos, Santa Fe, and Torrance County. So it goes south of I-25 down the middle of the state. It's been really fun looking at it from this point of view. I served in the legislature for 16 years, and it's always interesting when you have an opportunity to serve in one of the departments that you were participating in funding and that sort of thing. It's always great to get a different viewpoint of what really goes on in these areas. So it's been a good, enjoyable time. Thank you.
You guys all know me, and a lot of you I worked with before I left, and I was talking to Commissioner McElroy earlier, and I'm going to complete now with DOT 48 years. So I had 42 before I left. I've been 6 years on the commission, so as long as we can make a difference for the employees and for the traveling public, I will continue to serve. I want to thank each and every one of you, because if it wasn't for you, we couldn't do the job or provide the services we do. And so I know we couldn't have more people here today because of the weather, but if you'll take it back and let everybody here in District 5 and we let everybody across the state know that we're NMDOT strong, we're NMDOT family, and at the end of the day, it's you people, the people that are out in the trenches, that make things happen, make us look good, and make us the number one, I call it a business because it is the number one business anywhere. And I'm proud to be associated not only with NMDOT, but I'm proud to be associated with each and every one of you. So with that, thank you. It's going to be a quick meeting. This is the shortest agenda I've ever seen since I've been on the commission. And I know because of the weather, we'll try to get out of here early. So is there anybody that has any remarks that wants to come up? Just feel free to. We got one.
Jamades, Public Works Director from Espanola, signed up for public comment.
Welcome. We have a
Thank you. I want to say thank you to everybody here. I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank you, Cabinet Secretary Serta, for all the support we've had in Espanola and in the surrounding areas there. Espanola just encompasses a large area there. You know, there's so many small towns, so many communities that are tied to that place there. So I just wanted to say my thanks and appreciation on that. And I also just wanted to say, to bring just awareness that we are working on a RAISE grant right now with North Central Economic Development for a Fairview Corridor project that has been in the works for a few years now, engineering wise. So we're looking to raise the $19 million to do Fairview, which will go all the way from Industrial Park Road 84-285 all the way to New Mexico 291 to the high school there in Espanola. 3/4 of that road is NMDOT and a quarter is ours, but we're very happy to work and help and do anything we can to raise that money to get that project done. And once again, just thank you to District 5 and thank you to Cabinet Secretary Serta. Thank you.
I also want to remind you that there's money also that we have through the local government road fund, and that's going to be coming up very soon. So I would take a good look. That money is earmarked for entities.
And we're looking into all those too. Just the RAISE grant would raise the majority of that to be able to get that done. It's just going to bring a lot of needed pedestrian areas that are not in Espanola right now. And we've had some troubles in the past with pedestrian accidents and stuff in those. So this will be a great thing for the community.
Thank you, and hopefully we can get the secretary. I know is going to be going and asking for more money, because if it wasn't for that money that we get through the local government road fund, a lot of entities wouldn't be able to, especially in the rural areas, they wouldn't be able to do projects that they normally wouldn't do. So
it's been instrumental, and we appreciate it.
You got it.
Thank you.
Okay. If you can, Mr. Chairman, Denise, I know you just walked in. Are you here, Denise? raise your hand. If you'll connect with Elijah, before you just walk in, they're applying for a raise grant for a road that's partially ours, and so we can kind of get a jump start on, letters of support and support on the grant.
Anyone else?
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Secretary, Commissioners, I'm Eric Lujan, City Manager, City of Española. And how funny how you look, and I walked in this room, I did 17 years when it was NMSH TV, and then the NMDOT, I believe it was with you, Walter,
Yeah, remember.
in Santa Fe, and to see Anthony Lujan and Habib. I was an engineering co-op student when Habib was an EIT, and we were both stuck in Moriarty, so when you talk about Roy, and when Commissioner McElroy, I was at District 5 when I had you're the construction engineer, and Mike Manning was the DE, and then with Rhonda, it's a different, that's more of a St. Mike's thing, but and I had your what is now 599 Veterans Memorial Highway project, and I got caught without a hard hat, and so I know John caught me, and Corey Gonzalez was the safety guy at District 5, and I remember Ricky was an EIT, Ricky Padilla, but it's been, Mr. Chairman, to been a privilege now returning on this end, and 16 months in with the City of Española, having done 8 years at Santa Fe County as the Chief Deputy Treasurer with Patrick Varela, another product of the NMDOT, who is now coming to City of Española in the Finance Department. But it's been a privilege to work with Secretary Serna, and not because he's from Española, but that he, for the state of New Mexico, has done so much for us in this aspect. And you and I have seen so many cabinet secretaries, chairman, that it when it comes to caring about the rural communities, I've seen that impact at this level as being an administrator now, and seeing it. I just want to say, on behalf of Mayor John Ramon Vigil and my governing body, thank you, Mr. Secretary. Thank you to your staff. Thank you, Rhonda. I've already met with Rhonda, and she knows the needs and the concerns, because it's difficult when you're in Española, because we're between 2 counties and 2 pueblos. And then up here on the hill, we had Los Alamos. And we appreciate Los Alamos not only for the economic development impact as on the entire state with the job capacity, but also what it gives back to the rural communities as well. But on behalf of the City of Española, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Secretary, we just want to thank you so much.
On behalf of Eric, on behalf of the commission, we appreciate you being here, and we appreciate your kind words.
Thank you, Mr.
You'll
Chairman.
always be part of the NMDOT family too. I remember conversations we had and sitting down, and
But that was about your grandma.
yeah,
And now I have your primo as my economic development director,
yeah.
Michael. So the Adams family's everywhere too. And then we used to call Habib Gomez Adams. So he's part of your familia too.
Yeah, but he never wanted me in Moriarty. He told me to stay in Vegas. Thank you for being here, and I also want to tell you, Eric, that with the money coming up now for the local government road fund, keep your eyes peeled and get some projects there and prioritize them and get with District 5 and I know it depending on the amount of money we have, we try to help everybody out, but we get your projects in place and make sure that you have them ready, because as we say here, everything needs to be shovel ready. So keep your eyes out. Anyone else to come before this commission? If not, we will move on to public comment, which we just had, but I'm going to let anybody that wants to come up again. Okay, we're going to go on to the District 5 update. Rhonda. Welcome.
Yeah, Commissioners, I just want to point out, Ms. Chairman, this is Rhonda's first report. She's not with us at all. She's going to do just fine. But more importantly, as we discussed at previous meetings, we're going to hybrid this. There's going to be a portion that'll be on video, the staff recognition pieces, and then we'll have Rhonda deliver the bulk of her report.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, and everybody else. Just kind of wanted to start out to say I'm happy to be here in Los Alamos. Thanks to D5 Maintenance for clearing the roads. It was a good drive up here. And also thanks Los Alamos County for hosting us. This is a great facility. And happy to be here and be the guinea pig for the first live presentation in a while. So we'll get started. This way? Okay. All right, so just kind of a brief overview of District 5. District 5 is headquartered in Santa Fe. It's comprised of 6 counties: San Juan, Rio Arriba, Taos, Santa Fe, Torrance, and Los Alamos counties. We have 17 local governments, 10 tribal governments, 5,375 lane miles, which include portions of I-25 and I-40. We have 6 U.S. routes, which are U.S. 60, 64, 84, 285, 491, and 550. We have 506 bridges in District 5, 3 rest areas, and 21 regular maintenance patrols with 2 additional, actually that's 3 additional during winter operations, which we are in now, and 5 construction project offices. Here is a brief breakdown of our employees. Currently we have 325 total positions at the district. Of that is 45 positions for support staff, 194 positions in our maintenance area, 66 construction, 20 positions in engineering, and we have 63 vacancies, so that equates to a 19.4% vacancy rate at the district, which is, I think, a little bit high compared to some of the other districts from my understanding. But we're in the process of filling positions, and we've been working a lot with the general office to get positions, and we've been seeing a lot more movement lately, which has been good. FY25 budget for District 5, we have an operating budget of a little over $28 million. Construction contracts, we had almost $301 million. Our contract maintenance was just a little bit over $8.6 million. Field supplies, $6.5 million. We've got a little over $1.5 million for striping and siding, or $91,600 for rest area improvements, and $650,000 for rest area maintenance. So District 5, I just put a slide together for executive staff, and then I'd like for District 5 staff to introduce themselves. I'm Rhonda Lopez, the district engineer. I also have up there is our commissioner, Tom Taylor. Our ADE for engineering support is Javier Martinez. Our ADE for maintenance is James Mejia. James. Right now we don't have an ADE for our construction. Actually, I'll be holding interviews later this week to fill that position, but I do have 2 people that are kind of acting in that capacity right now. One of them is Jeff Johnston. He's here, and then Jared Rodriguez, and I don't think he was able to make it this morning. I think he had an appointment. We've got Jolene Casados, our business manager. Jim Murray is a public information officer. And Marlene Gallegos is the executive assistant to the DE, and I think she's not here. She had to take her son to school, and with the weather and stuff, she wasn't able to make it. But I'd like for, at this point, for D5 staff to kind of stand up and introduce themselves.
Good morning, I'm Ben Martinez. I'm the assistant district engineer for engineering support. Good morning, I'm Chris Ortiz, District 5 traffic section. I'm Marcos Cervera, District 5 traffic section. I'm a utility permit agent.
I mean, it's nice to see all the staff. I know it's always nice to have everybody introduce themselves, and we wouldn't be able to execute everything that we do on a daily basis without all of the great staff that we have. So thank you guys for being here. So I'll kind of go over some of our different areas that we have at District 5. We'll start out with the D5 construction. So as kind of mentioned, we've got 5 construction project offices in the district. One is located out of Bloomfield. We have one in Espanola, Taos, Moriarty, and Santa Fe. The construction area is also comprised of our construction audit section and the district materials lab. So currently we've got, what I did was I listed all of the projects that we have completed since Paul gave this presentation last year. So we've completed 10 construction projects since this time last year for a total of about almost $116 million. Ongoing construction projects that we have that are either under winter suspension or currently ongoing are, we've got 6 projects that are actively under construction, and those are totaling approximately $157.6 million. Now kind of going into more of like our engineering support, I have listed just some of the top like major projects that we will have that are in development and that we are looking at letting, or even maybe have currently like just recently let over the upcoming year. And all of those projects are just the major ones in your packets, commissioners. We've got more of a compiled list of what includes all of the D5 projects that are in the STIP, as well as in our planning years. So these ones are just kind of the major ones that we have coming up this year. District 5 maintenance. As previously mentioned, we have 21 maintenance patrols normally. During winter operations, we have 3 additional patrols that we kind of do to help out. One's in Los Alamos, which was just at the bottom of the hill if you saw when you're coming up after the Y. Rinconada, and then there's some additional winter operations that are done out of Santa Fe. We also have 7 special crews in our maintenance, comprised of chip seal, bridge, graffiti removal, trucking, carpentry, Vector, and guardrail. So I also wanted to kind of give a little bit of overview of the contract maintenance projects. We have completed, and again, these are just kind of some of the more significant projects that have been completed in our maintenance area over in 24-25. So basically a lot of these were done over this past summer. And then up on the top, I listed some of the upcoming projects that either maybe were started and we need to complete, or will be coming up when the weather gets a little bit warmer. Snow and ice removal. This I found really interesting, especially having just been a DE now for like about 3 months, and then especially with all the weather that we've had recently. So for FY24, the district had a little over 400,000 pass miles, and the total cost for the snow and ice removal, that equates to almost $6 million. And litter removal, as everybody's aware, we have a new litter campaign, the Breaking Bad Habits campaign, which I think is pretty cool, actually, having been a big fan of Breaking Bad. But as far as the litter removal for the district over the last year, all of these numbers are based off of labor hours, not really by pounds or tons. So the district labor forces themselves are, we had 14,833 labor hours which equates to almost $800,000 of funds. We have the Corrections Department labor hours, which equates to about 161,000, which was a 4,264 labor hours. And then we had contracts that we do for litter also, and that was about 334 hours, which was about $650,000. As the chairman mentioned, the for when Espanola came up and made their comments, the LGRF and TPF funding is something that is very vital and important to some of the local entities. And so here's just kind of a brief overview of our FY 2025 TPF funding that we that the district awarded. We had 7 projects that were awarded with 7 different entities. For a total of $9.2 million. For the TPF funding, the entities are required to do a 5% match, which was like about $460,000, and so the total amount of TPF was $9.7 million. There is a little bit more detailed information in your packets, commissioners, with a map showing the locations and the actual descriptions of the projects. With the LGRF program, we awarded 44 projects with 23 different entities. This program has a 75-25% split. So 75 was about 4.1 million that was state funded, and the entity match was 1.37 million, and the total amount awarded was almost $5.5 million for LGRF. And again, there's a more detailed packet with a map or more detailed information with a map included in your packets. And then with that, we'll, at the last commission meeting, I think the statewide patrol of the year was announced, which I think was out of District 1, but I wanted to still honor the District 5 nominee for Best Patrol, which was the Cuesta Patrol, and we have a video.
I'm short for words. We just do our work, our job. Other than that, it's just like any other work day. Well, with all the experience we have, it's pretty easy supervising because they all know their jobs. I just delegate what needs to be done out in the field and turn them loose, and the work gets done. They're all dependable. I have no problem with, missing work, or abusing leave or nothing like that. They all show up. Snow removal is an emergency, and up here winters are long, and I don't have no issue with them, not reporting for snow removal. So that's a major plus for me, not to have to worry about if I'm gonna find guys, ready to work when needed. All my years of working here, it's been great, and I appreciate my coworkers for the job that they've done and continue to do. I'll be leaving soon, and I hope it continues to, work the same as that it's been for all these years.
Was always that when we showed up, and if you look at any video that's been done, it only shows the employees because they're the ones that need to be recognized. But they're always so humble. And I remember going out and we would film them and they would say, "We're just doing our job." And I disagree with that. They not only do their job, they go above and beyond. They do whatever it takes, and they don't sit around in a break room saying we can't do this or we can't do that or we don't have resources, we don't have money, we're not getting paid enough. What they do is they figure it out, they sit down and they design it and they make it happen. And so when he says in the video, we just come to work, our patrols or our construction offices or even at the GO, or if you're at District 5, that's your house, that's your home. You spend more time there sometimes than you do at your own house. And so I've seen, like in the patrols, where people are very talented and they go in and they'll do carpentry and they'll make their break room something that they can all be proud of. They'll put tile in their bathrooms, not because they have to, because they want to, because they want to make it a place that is not only that they're proud of, but a place that when people visit, because we sometimes have visitors, that it looks like a place that you can entertain just like you would at your house. So I just again want to, on behalf of this commission, thank each and every one of everybody, because I know a lot of things they do, they don't have to do. It's not in their job description. They do it because they have a passion for what they do and they love working here. So with that, I just want to commend them again, and it's always good to see how humble they are, but we appreciate it.
Totally agree, Chairman. I not really having, again, being in this position for about 3 months and not really having been involved, especially on the maintenance side, that has been one of the things that has struck me the most as a new DE, is just how, especially the maintenance, I mean, they're always just so willing just to go out. They pick up the phone when you call and they're never complain. They're like, we're on it. And it's just amazing to me, all the things that they do.
Yeah. Thank you.
So our employee recognition program, we of course have different employees that are nominated throughout each month through the year, and now of course we're in January, so we have our employee of the year. So this is a person that was, so we'll have the employee, crew, and supervisor of the year for 2024. So our first person's employee of the year, Mr. Joseph Muniz. I don't know, I'm sorry, Joseph. From the Taos Patrol. I have a little quote there. So of course when he's nominated, of course there's like a long write-up of whoever does the nomination. I kind of just put a little bit of a quote there. And it just says that he's always been one of the first one to volunteer, show up to call out after hours and get the job done. Joe is a great employee who shows a great work ethic, is honest and reliable. I just kind of thought that was a nice quote to share, and we've got a video.
It's a nice honorable mention. I never thought I'd get one, but here I am. I was kind of dumbfounded. I couldn't believe it. I'm still the same guy. It hasn't changed me anything. I still do my tasks, take care of business. They say my morale's pretty good too, so we can do it attitude. It's not just me, it's us. I don't take all the credit when we go out there on a job and get something done. It's us that are doing it. It's not just me, it's us. Yeah, in fact, we were talking the other day, and I think I've missed 2 call-outs in that 6 years and 8 months. Yeah, so that phone rings and I'm there. And not only for our patrol, I've actually been called out to take care of stuff in the Peñasco side. I've been called out to take care of stuff for the Tres Piedras side. So it's not only Taos Patrol. I don't just work for Taos Patrol. I work for the state of New Mexico.
Again, just that humble nature that you mentioned. Next, we have our 2024 Supervisor of the Year, Mr. Tim Butts. He's with our Clients Corners Patrol. Here's again a little quote that I pulled out. It said, Tim is very intelligent He's a hard worker and always dependable. He is an honest man and doesn't make excuses or put things off. He has always stepped up to assist the construction section in any way that is needed with no complaint, and always with the utmost respect and professionalism. And we also have a video.
You got to love your job to do what you do every day. If you don't like your job and doing, you're not going to enjoy your work. Here in Klein's Corners, you never know what you're going to come across. There's an interesting factor that's never the same every day in this area. I think the proven fact is what we do here in Klein's Corners and the results that you're seeing, the hard work and effort that the whole crew's putting in. And like I say, it's in long term, we're used to the results are there. I would say, I guess it's honored, because I guess I've earned the respect of other people, what I've been doing out here, and I think it's kind of showing the results of what we've been trying to accomplish here in Klein's Corners. Just staying consistent. I mean, trying to keep up with things. We try to stay one step ahead and just try to be helpful in every way that we can help everybody in every situation. I think we've got a good relationship. I think they understand we're here to work, and we're here to get the job done and make sure we're doing the best we can for everybody. Because there's the amount of people that come through here, we want to make sure we represent the state in a good manner. It was a surprise. I take it as it's an honor. What I do every day in my life, I can portray it every day into my work ethic. Hopefully it builds with my crew, and it shows that we care about what we're doing out here.
Next up is the District 5 2024 Crew of the Year, Mr. Patrick Martinez and Ricky Ray Martinez, who comprise our IT department. They keep the tools and resources we need working to be able to do our jobs. Ricky Ray and Patrick are outstanding employees that have had a positive impact on our agency. They are hardworking, always go above and beyond, and are prime examples of team players.
There's so many good teams and groups here at District 5 that for us to be picked is an honor.
I would have to second that. Yeah, it was, I mean, everybody around here does such a great job, so to be recognized was definitely an honor.
On a normal day, we're fielding calls, we're running updates on machines, updates on the network, we're setting up new users.
Monitoring the network, making sure that our security posture, that we're meeting those constraints, or anything can change from 1 minute to the next. It can go from 0 to 100 in no time. At the beginning of last year, we had a new BM that started in September. So at that point in time, there was some renovation that needed to occur during that time. We're called in to assist. We were already in there removing machines or moving machines out.
We helped with removing furniture out of every office, taking apart modular furniture and putting them back together after the carpeting was done and the walls were painted.
So that was, I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's what we were sort of recognized for initially, was for that sort of going out of our, I guess, scope of IT work. I'm not going to say not part of our job, but just out of our scope of what we normally would do.
To stand out from all the other great teams that are out here, it's an honor. We do work well together. We're very organized. We take care of our constituents as best as we can, as quickly as we can, and just try to stay on top of all our duties.
I just want to say real quickly, I've known Ricky Ray for a long time. I actually knew his grandparents, his grandpa very, very well, and it was an honor to know him. And I was talking to him before the meeting, but I knew him since I was working here, and he's always done a fine job, and I want to commend both of you for the Crew of the Year award, you and Patrick. So continue to keep up the good work. I see that all these years later, you're still at it, so good.
Thank you, Chairman. And I'll second that. All of the honorees for the 2024 year, like they mentioned, there's it's a team, and there's a lot of other people that didn't necessarily get that, but that contribute every single day to everything that we do, which they all have such an important role. So moving on to the next, when I talked to the secretary about the live presentation, one of the things that he did specifically mention that he wanted me to kind of go over a few highlights. And of course, you know, since I'm new in this position, I don't have a whole lot of highlights that I kind of could do. You know, I wanted to include highlights that were something that I've been a part of. So these are just a few of the things in the last like 3 months that I've attended, or that kind of stuck out to me as highlights. I did get the opportunity early December to attend the groundbreaking ceremony for the East Aztec Arterial groundbreaking, and the thing that really kind of struck me, that it was really nice to see a project that was getting started, that was such an important project for the community and the region, and from my understanding it had really been a long time in the making, so it was really nice to be a part of that and just see the excitement for this first phase of a multi-phase project. One of the other opportunities that I had also in early December was to attend a ribbon cutting ceremony for the US 64 Red Wash Bridge. That was a DOT project. Commissioner Taylor actually was at both. We had attended both of those together. This one in particular really kind of struck home for me in the sense that as you can see, look, there's all of these different community members in the picture. There were different elders, and the Red Wash Bridge is really close to the Baclabato chapter. And so after we had the ribbon cutting ceremony, we went and shared a meal at the Baclabato chapter house. And the thing that really struck me was they had different people talking about the project. And the other thing too, real quick, was they dedicated and even did a blessing for the bridge, which I thought was really cool in Navajo, and that I thought was really neat to be a part of. But when we went to the chapter house, different people were sharing stories, and the thing that really struck home with me was, you know, in some of our larger communities, you know, we build bridges and stuff like that, and we just see it as a transportation system. But when we were there and being in this rural part, they were just talking about, you know, growing up, and I think there was a gentleman that talked about his grandma weaving a rug under the bridge for, you know, for shade, and him playing with his brothers under the bridge, you know, the old bridge. And it just really struck home for me in the sense that our infrastructure is such an important part of the communities that we serve. I mean, it is actually really a part of the community. It's not just infrastructure. So I really came with that and away from that after going to this ribbon cutting ceremony. One of the other projects, if you were ever driving in between Albuquerque and Santa Fe, was our La Bajada project, which is now complete. I think it looks great. It drives wonderfully, and hopefully it was the slope mitigation project, and so I'm sure that we'll have it'll help stabilize that area and provide capacity for years to come. One of the nice things is Wilson and Company will be receiving, they applied for and won the 2025 ACEC New Mexico Engineering Excellence Grand Conceptor Award, which will be given to them at the end of this month for this project. So.
Note is that project was one of the reasons that in this year's legislature, or legislative session, we're going to be pushing the red light cameras in construction zones throughout the state when we have big projects, because that was a perfect example of all the construction was going on. Motorists weren't slowing down, or the majority of them weren't slowing down. And we want to make sure that everyone that's working on any project at any time is as safe as they can be, and we're going to be pushing that, right, Secretariat, and it'll be these cameras that record the speed, and then they'll send you a ticket home, and it's going to be double the work zone. So I think that's good for all our employees that are out there, and for the contractors, and for everybody else, anybody that's part of those projects. So that was one of the reasons it came up. I mean, so thank you for that.
definitely that will be a great enhancement for safety, especially in areas where the commuter corridors. I think people just seem to have a hard time slowing down, and during construction, it's so important for safety. The last slide that I have is to highlight is the District 5. It was the winners of the 2024 Training for Equipment Excellence, the statewide championship. I think what was kind of cool for me was this was actually like my first week as a district engineer, and they won. And if I'm not mistaken, it's four years in a row for District 5, just to kind of say that. And
don't say it too loud. Okay?
But I think to me that just kind of shows like the it was a great opportunity to start out and meet a lot of the maintenance staff and just see what they do, and just it was really neat to just see all the different competitions, and they're so talented with just the different things that they can do for that, and it was nice to meet such a talented, hard-working group of people on my first week on the job.
Well, on behalf of this commission, we want to thank District 5 for winning the Excellence statewide competition. And I can tell you this, even when I was there years and years ago, District 5 was always there knocking at the door. They were winning it most of the time. So congratulations, job well done, continue. And I hope that sets the bar for the other districts to try to compete, and it's a friendly competition that we really, I know when Anthony Long was here, he supported this big time. There was a time when we almost didn't have it, but we brought it back, and I think it's a wonderful venue for people not only to go compete, but to socialize and get to know each other. So, and on that same thing, I would like to thank Expo New Mexico for lending us their facilities. I think that's worked out great. And it's a good place to go and have a competition and enjoy afterwards. So I'd like to thank Expo too. So on behalf of this commission, District 5, congratulations.
And actually that wraps up my presentation for District 5.
Well, for it being your first presentation, you did a wonderful job. We appreciate you, and we look forward to, I think we'll have you give one every meeting.
I don't know if I could handle the stress.
Okay. Just kidding, but thank you, and congratulations to your district for a job well done.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Commissioners.
With that, we're gonna. Rhonda, did you want to wait and do pictures? I don't know if they're like on time constraint, so I could fit them in here. It's going to be really short from here, so we could wait till after, or I can get them in between, whatever's. There's plenty of burritos, so don't leave. So with that, we'll go ahead and continue, and then we'll take pictures afterwards. Secretary, Sereno.
Sure, thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Before I forget, since Rhonda was up here, I want to recognize that Dave Quintana, our chief engineer, was staring at a big void when Rhonda went over to District 5, but he has completed the hiring process for her replacement, which officially is the Programs Divisions Director in our Infrastructure Division, and that individual is Manuelito Maestas, who's been with the agency for a while. So I want to congratulate Manuelito. He has some big shoes to fill now that Rhonda's over at D5, but congratulations to him. Just before I get started, let's see, I'll wait a little bit. I think the mayor just stepped out. Just want to remind everybody, we provided you some information. The paving conference begins in Albuquerque tomorrow. I appreciate UNM and the work that they do to get that ready, and hope that you're able to attend. We continue to work with our partners at the Department of Workforce Solutions on the governor's executive order to develop pipeline programs for in-demand occupations. And so the Department of Transportation, as you recall, issued an RFP, a call for proposals from training providers to help us develop training programs that will build a staff for the department. We've had meetings with Luna Community College, and this week we're going to be having meetings with San Juan College. Looks like Commissioner Taylor will be able to join so that they can actually stand up training programs that meet our hard-to-fill position needs at the department, so we look forward to that. We received a grant recently as well in partnership with Workforce Solutions, so we look forward to really kicking off this model, which is often talked about, I think, in the space of workforce development, but until we have one that's churning out a workforce for DOT, it'll continue to just be something we talk about. The last couple of weeks has been spent meeting with several legislators to discuss our funding priorities for the upcoming session. DepSec and I had a fun time down in District 1. We went over to District 2 to meet with lawmakers there as well, and so we're just kind of ensuring that lawmakers are aware of our funding priorities, our legislative strategy. We had the pleasure of meeting with Jim Garcia, ACNM, APA&M contractors last week as well, so that we can answer questions about the 1.5 billion bonding capacity bill that stems from the resolution passed by commissioners, options that could lead to debt service revenue for us, and of course, like the chairman said, our priority to getting safety cams in construction zones past this upcoming session as well, which begins already Tuesday. I can't believe it's already coming up. I just wanted to share also that since our last meeting, our senior management team, including district engineers, came together for a 2-day retreat, which we've done for the past 3 years. It was the third time that we've done this. Gives us an opportunity to kind of get to know one another a little bit better, do some team building exercises. But our focus this go round was really about our communication strategy across the agency from the top down, so that we can really formalize and strengthen that. Our legislative strategy, of course, and budget planning. And the budget planning really stems from the fact that our current vacancy rate is sitting below 15%, and because it's staying there for an extended period of time, we're seeing the impact that that's having on our fiscal strength, in combination with how well we're moving the needle on compensation for our employees. And so we had an opportunity to talk about how we ensure projects are being let timely, legislative funding is being spent timely, how we prioritize around staffing, appropriately aligning staff so that we're being competitive not only with the private sector, but from one district to the next and from one division to the next. So I'm really pleased that DOT is becoming as competitive a employer that it has been in the last several months, but more importantly how we're building on our employee engagement programs to ensure staff are really happy at the agency. To that end, we've rolled out for some time now it's called an exit survey, which is very common in a lot of organizations, but DOT has been doing this pretty systematically over the last several months, and the exit survey gives us an opportunity to hear from anybody who's leaving the agency, whether it be a retirement, a promotion, or or choosing to leave state government altogether. And those exit surveys give us feedback about what we need to be doing as a department, or as granular as the supervisor, manager, and department level, to really encourage that employees stay. In some instances, we hear positive feedback and the need really just to kind of expand their options and opportunities for growth. But in other areas, we get good feedback about what we need to do to ensure that our managers are trained well, that there's growth opportunities, advancement opportunities, that we check all the boxes in our hiring process to be sure that we're being fair, clear, and transparent about the decisions we make. So what ends up happening is those make it all the way to the supervising manager of that employee, and then we get discussions about how we can kind of improve on our work environment. And so I think I'll stop there, Mr. Chairman. I know the Mayor, John Ramon Vigil, was able to make it here. He may be outside, but I did want to acknowledge that he made it to the meeting. With that, I'll scan for any questions.
In speaking with the secretary, and I know this is always a big thing for employees, it was a big thing when I was there, is the big question is, are we going to get raises this year? And as of right now, and speaking with the secretary, the legislature hasn't submitted their budget yet, or their proposed budget, and neither has the governor. So at this time, at this point, we really don't know. I'm sure we'll get something. how much, that's to be determined. So hopefully as we move forward and as we have another meeting, the secretary will be able to update us. And I would, if, once it becomes to where we're sure, I would ask the secretary maybe to send out a message letting us know where we're at, and that way you guys will know, because I know that's a big thing every year. So with that, Secretary, thank you for your report. I know you and your team are gonna have a lot of work to do now during the legislative session, so anything that you need from the commission, we're here and ready to roll. So.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll, as I have in the past, continue to send you updates throughout the session so you can kind of track our bills. The governor has in her budget carved out funding for pay increases in the spirit of internal alignment, being competitive in appropriate place. It hasn't translated to a % increase yet, but she is investing in employee compensation, and so that'll flush itself out over the course of the session, and we'll keep employees updated as that happens.
Secretary, and I haven't discussed this with you. I've heard some comments, and I'm going to bring it up and see what you think about it, what the commission thinks about it. Is as we move forward, maybe sometime during the session, sometimes after, if you could do like a little, maybe 5-minute state of the state address that can be sent out to all employees, and they can open it up and you can update them and give them a little bit of where we're at, what we're doing, and then maybe throughout the year when you think it's appropriate, is maybe do one. I think they'd like to hear, or any new initiatives or any new programs or any new things that we're planning.
Mr. Chairman, that's right. Exactly. That's exactly in alignment with what we talked about as a senior manager, as a senior management team during a retreat. Was actually letting employees know how regularly they can expect a video message from the secretary, an all-hands meeting, right, with senior managers, newsletters from the general office, newsletters from the district, et cetera, and then we also are working on creating a QR code feedback loop so that employees can actually ask questions in a forum that doesn't, put them on the spot, or at a time when, we're not in a meeting and they think of something that, they're not clear about or they have an idea to share. So we want it to be a two-way communication strategy. So you're right on track with what we expect to be doing, but we also want to publish that plan so employees can actually challenge us and say, hey, well, this video was supposed to come out here, or this update here, or this all hands was supposed to take place. Why aren't they happening? So that we can kind of stay sharp with how we're meeting with employees on a regular basis.
And that's great to hear. And the other thing is, would there be like a format where maybe employees could ask questions and you can maybe address some of them during your, and they, we can let them know where it is, ask the question, and as you're giving your address, answer some of the questions that are important to them.
Yeah, I believe we've done that once, or ahead of time we allow them to kind of submit the questions, and then we try and hit all of those. And then what we do is we'll open up a chat space where they can ask questions, and then we'll respond with an FAQ afterwards so that they all get answered.
That's wonderful news that we're headed in that direction. And with that, we will go ahead and move on to Mallory. And while we're waiting for Mallory, I just wanted to say that Anthony Lujan and me are very, very happy because both our coaches have been fired, the Raiders and the Cowboys.
I know.
And so hopefully help is on the way.
We have a chance, is what you're saying.
Wait, what about the joke?
All right. Good morning, Chairman, Commissioners. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Welcome.
Which is faster, hot or cold?
Faster?
Yeah. Which is faster, hot or cold?
Cold.
Nope. Hot, because you can always catch a cold.
I asked for it, so here, you know what?
Alrighty, so I'm here to present our financial position as of January 1st. If you look at column E, line number 14, we have revenues of $2.2 billion. Column E, line number 23, we have expenditures that equal the same amount of $2.2 million. Column F, line number 14, we have received only $360.3 million in revenue. And column F, line number 23, we have spent $496.0 million worth of expenditures. On the next page, this is our restricted revenue, column F, line number 23. On restricted revenue to date, we have received $49.9 million, and we have spent $53.9 million of our budget authority. On the next page, this shows us our cash position. This compares where we were at in December of 2024 versus December of 2023. Line number 1 is the state road fund. As you can see, in 2023, we were about $332.2 million worth of cash. In December in 2024, we're about $315.4 million. That's about a $16.8 million difference, and that just shows that we're spending our money at a faster rate. If you look at line number 12, that's all our cash position altogether. This shows about a $14.2 million difference between 2024 and 2023, and again, that just shows that we're spending our money faster than what we did in 2023. And our last page shows our fund balance of what we're projecting where we will end at the end of fiscal year 25. Line number 7, state road fund, we're under the projected unbudgeted fund balance. We're showing about a $42 million in unallocated cash at this time for state road fund. And then lines number 10 through 24, we're showing a deficit of $2.7 million, but that just is because of the NHTSA fund and the FTA fund. Those are 100% reimbursable, and we seek reimbursement on a monthly basis. So when I did the report, we hadn't asked for reimbursement for those two funds. Overall, though, we're showing about a $39.2 million unallocated balance in all our funds. And that, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, I stand for any questions.
Is there any questions or comments from fellow commissioners? I just wanted to ask you, I know when I spoke with you last, the budget was a little lower than what we thought, but we're on track.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, we are evaluating our financial strategy to ensure that we have long-term stability and growth throughout the remaining of the fiscal year. I assure you that we'll make any adjustments needed if necessary to make sure that we are able to be sustainable for FY26.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you always for your report. Happy New Year's to you and your staff. And then, at which meeting will we see the audit?
Oh, sorry, the next one.
And the next one?
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
With that, we'll go on to Cindy, our FHWA partner. Happy New Year's and welcome.
So yes, thank you. Happy New Year to everyone, and thank you for everyone's hospitality. And always want to start with some good news and thank yous. So the last time I spoke, I was talking about inactive obligations and just how we're managing our project funding. And want to thank Mallory and her team, of course the secretary, and making this a priority the last quarter. So we ended up at 0.5% for our inactives, and we always want to make sure we're below 2%. In other words, Mallory, thank you for making this a priority and getting me off the radar in Washington. So much appreciation for that. So thank you. And I know it's a team effort, and it's not lost on me that we have to put additional resources to this. So thank you, Secretary, for your staff's help on that. So that was big for me. Of course, next week we're going to have a new administration and new priorities and whatever that will bring for us. And we have 2 more years of dedicated funding through the bipartisan infrastructure law, so we will have that steady funding. If there's any changes with that takes an act of Congress, and if there are any changes, that will take time for that to pass and to implement as well. But I'm really confident in our partnership that we have with the New Mexico DOT and the Commission here. So whatever changes may come, we'll do it together. So I'm really confident in and what that will bring. With that, Sean Duffy was nominated as the Secretary of Transportation. He has his confirmation hearing tomorrow, so we'll see what that brings. And then lastly, congratulations on a few discretionary grants that were received. I know, Secretary, you alluded to it earlier. With the Highway Construction Training Program grant that was provided last month. So congratulations for that. That'll really help with your workforce training. And to create the Industry Credential Pipeline Program. Also, congratulations to your team and Denise and being successful with getting 2 new rural grants. So the city of Las Cruces received funding for the Mesa Grande Drive and as well as New Mexico DOT with the New Mexico 128 funding. So congratulations. Also the Pueblo of Santa Ana received wildlife crossing funding for the Sandia Jemez Drive. So about $6.3 million for that. So congratulations to them. So, and that's all I have. So, any questions or?
Any questions, fellow commissioners? Comments? Well, we always appreciate you being here, and we appreciate your partnership.
Thank you.
We look forward to great things in 2025.
Absolutely.
And
yes, we're hopeful.
And truckloads of money.
We'll try to bring it. Yeah. Great. Thank you.
I'll hold on.
I do want to just kind of add to Susan's closing comments on our federal funding received, and you know, it's amazing because we've been, you know, really chomping at the bit to get federal grants, and while asking you shall receive, and just this last couple of months it's been over 200 million in federal grants actually that we've received. Most recently, Great Separations for Allison Road in Gallup, and a partnership for a Great Separation down in Texaco. That's a partnership between us and TxDOT. And so it's really great to see that funding come on in. And one of the things that I think Mallory was alluding to when she says, you know, we need to pivot and make adjustments where necessary, is these grants come with the need for match funds from the State Road Fund. And so some of what we have to do is make sure that those become legislative priorities in a timely fashion between now and the next legislative session, or that we carve them out in our State Road Fund. So the federal grants are great. They come with a sense of urgency and timelines, which I like because it moves projects to production and construction quickly, but they do come at a time when we otherwise would have that state fund set aside for other projects, primarily maintenance. And so it's good news with the need to make good adjustments, and we'll continue to do that. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, we bring up Mark Lovato. How are you doing, Mark?
Good. How are you, Mr. Chairman?
Good. Good to see you.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm going into page 57. I'm at the top of the page. This is your debt service funds. We're currently holding $48 million towards debt service. That number includes a $14 million interest-only payment that was made on December 15th. And we also received in a monthly set-aside payment, which is about $10 million. The next block, we're currently holding $188.6 million for projects. Most of it is out of your 21 bond series. There was a draw during the month of December for about $1 million. At the bottom of the page, this is your line of credit. Again, as the Commission knows, in December it was renewed for an additional 3 years. There was a commitment fee payment made in December of $24,000. On the next page, as I mentioned, there was an interest payment on December 15th, totaling $14 million. This will show you the breakdown between the bond series and what was actually paid. On the next page, this will show you your next debt service payment on June 15th. That is a principal and an interest payment, totaling $96.6 million. Adding in the $14 that was paid in December, your annual debt service total will be about $111 million. On the next page, that $111 million is actually pretty consistent over the next 6 years, with the exception of 27, which goes up to about $122 million. The portfolio is very short, Most of it is paid off in 6 years. Your 7th year is very, very small, under 9 million. With that, very happy with it. Thank you.
With that, we're going to go into action items. Do we have, who are we waiting for, Rick? The mayor? Is the mayor from Espanola here? No? If he comes in, let us know. We would like to recognize him. With that, we're going to go ahead and move on to initiative rulemaking action to update Rule 18.3.4 NMAC safety requirements. Alicia Ortiz. Welcome.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Commissioner. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Commissioners and Secretary Serna. I've been before you before. I'm John Newell. I'm the Deputy General Counsel with the Department of Transportation, and Alicia Ortiz is here with me. As you will recall, those of you who were on the commission at the time, we had a big project last year where we incorporated several of the functions of the PRC into the NMDOT after the legislation from the 2023 session. And one of the things we did is we promulgated rules as part of that process. And now we're learning more about those rules we promulgated as we're putting them into effect. And one of them was Rule 18.3.4, which is the safety requirements. And one of the provisions that we put into the safety requirements on the advice of the PRC was a requirement that all drivers of regulated motor carriers be 21 years or older. This has turned out to be what we determined to be a public safety issue for rural communities for ambulance service. And we, working with the DOH and the Department of Health and with some industry stakeholder groups, we determined that an emergency rulemaking was necessary. And Alicia presented that to you as an informational item on September 19th at the STC meeting. And on December 23rd, 2024, NMDOT adopted the emergency rule allowing ambulance drivers, volunteer ambulance drivers, and ambulance drivers in general to be under 21 years of age, 18 or older. What we need to do now is put that emergency rule into permanent effect. And so we need to initiate a rulemaking in order to do so. In the course of this, we will be consulting with industry stakeholders and with the Department of Health to make sure that we have a rule that we don't have to tweak again, that we can go forward with and enforce in an appropriate manner. So today what we're asking the Commission is to initiate the rulemaking action for Rule 18.3.4 in MAC safety requirements.
Before, are there any questions, any comments from any fellow commissioners? For Commissioner McElroy, I don't know how familiar you are, but PRC, some of PRC came over to NMDOT, so they're under the NMDOT now, and this was part of some of the actions that we are doing. So if not, Mr. Secretary, what is your recommendation?
Mr. Chairman, I want to thank John and Alicia for getting this done. We did hear directly from industry, a lot of small communities whose ambulance drivers were, functioning outside of the standard that we set in the new rules, and so I appreciate you all taking quick action on the emergency rule change and even more so on the permanent change. So I recommend approval.
You heard the recommendation. What is the pleasure of this commission? We have a motion for approval from Commissioner Taylor. Do I have a second? We have a second from Commissioner Chenoweth. Do we all in favor? Aye. Opposed? And that is for rulemaking action to update Rule 18.3.4 NMAC safety requirement. It carries unanimously. Thank you for your work.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you. Now we will move on to FY25 bar number 15, P562 project design construction. Denise, welcome.
Good morning. Well, thank you. Good morning, Chair, Commissioners. I'm here to present bar 15 for FY25. This is to increase budget authority for $1,858,000 from the federal 2024 Advanced Digital Construction Management System grant that we received, and then $546,000 from the Department of Finance and Admin for the match fund for this. So the project will support NMDOT's vision for enhanced data accessibility among stakeholders, greater data, and better decision making. So therefore, I respectfully request for approval.
You've heard the request. Is there any questions? Is there any comments? If not, what is your recommendation, Mr. Secretary?
Mr. Chairman, recommend approval so that we can move this project forward.
We have a recommendation from the Secretary to approve. Do I have a motion? I have a motion from Commissioner Chenoweth, second from Commissioner Tonjes. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries unanimously, and that is for FY25 bar number 15, P562. Thank you.
Thank you.
With that, we'll move on to C, annual determination of notice provisions for open and closed state transportation committee.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, I'm Steve Hamilton, the General Counsel for the Department. On a yearly basis, state law requires commissions such as this commission to adopt notice provisions for their meetings. The commission's commission policy number 1 has notice provisions in it. It's been in effect since May of 2022, and we would recommend that the board or the commission go ahead and re-adopt that as the notice provisions to be applied for commission meetings for this year.
You've heard the recommendation. What is the pleasure of this commission? I have a motion to approve the annual determination of notice provisions for open and closed state transportation commission meetings from Commissioner Taylor. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second from Commissioner McElroy. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That carries unanimously. Thank you. Now we'll go on to FY25 bar number 16.
Good afternoon, Chairman Adams, members of the Commission. Once again, I'm here before you as I spoke in front of this body in Rio Rancho as we continue to invest and bring electric vehicle charging stations online. We're able to get rebate funding back to the agency, so we intend on using this funding to reinvest in our electrification program. So this FY25 bar is required to increase the budget authority in contractual services category 300 by $200,000. The funds will be used towards the non-federal match for a grant received from the Congestion Mitigation and Air Quality Improvement Program for planning, implementation, and services to support the Department of Transportation in achieving its objective of transitioning the state fleet as well as the NMDOT fleet to zero-emission vehicles under the Governor's executive order. The bar is supported by rebates received from the installation of DC fast charging stations from PNM, and I respectfully request approval.
Mr. Secretary, what is your recommendation?
Mr. Chairman, I recommend approval. I wanted to ask Jerry if he had a sense of how many more rebates do you anticipate that we'll be receiving?
I believe that we anticipate another $200,000 rebate check to come in. Okay. The program from PNM, as long as we're installing level 3 charging infrastructure through the PNM service territory, but those funds are limited, and so it's first come, first received, and so I anticipate at least one more $200,000 check coming towards the agency.
So, thank you.
And where are we with? Do we have any signs?
Chairman Adams, great news. Yeah, we have signs that are actually being put up along our corridors. We're working with Phil Archuleta. He's working with our district permitting staff to put signs in our right-of-way, and so those have been put up and more to come as well.
I appreciate that because there was some people that came down to a basketball game at Highlands, and I guess Highlands has some chargers. I don't even know where those are, and they had their car charging there, and it wasn't. So I was next to them, and I said, "Hey, we have some rapid chargers. Where are they?" And I told them where, and they were so happy, and they were able to get on the road a lot quicker.
And so looking forward to that trend continuing.
Thank you. And is there more coming up, or?
Excited to announce, absolutely. We've been working on our national vehicle infrastructure rollout, so we now have 30 locations under contract with over 120 ports that are currently under contract. We'll have our first announcement of the NEVI sites coming online this last month. Pilot actually has them waiting for commissioning. So in the next 3 months, you can anticipate approximately 15 locations, and by the summertime we'll be up to about 30 locations. We also just put out a call for projects thanks to our legislators in the FY24 session. We received $15 additional million of funding. We received over $75 million of ask for $15 million, but it represents over 120 locations. So we're going to get ready to go through that process, through the solicitation, to award an additional $15 million to communities across the state, with an emphasis, of course, on rural New Mexico.
Thank you for that. And would it be possible, like within the next 2 weeks, if you could send the commission via email or whatever the locations where these new ones are going in?
Absolutely.
Just so that we have an idea of, in case we get asked or whatever.
Yeah, we have 40 locations that are up and running with over 86 ports. We'll parse it out to what's gone live with those 40 locations, as well as the additional 30 locations, their addresses, and when you can anticipate those locations to come online.
And there was a request, and I don't know if it qualifies or doesn't qualify, that's up to you guys to determine, but from Expo, and they were wondering if they could get some chargers on their grounds, but that's something you guys can discuss. I don't know whether we can or can't.
Yeah, I can definitely reach out to Executive Director Morning and see what the opportunities are, because they are a sister agency. They fall under the umbrella of government. We can see what we can do to work with them on state funding for that location.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, sir.
And if I can, Mr. Chairman, on the brief, on the commission brief, it's been pointed out that it's showing 200,000, but it's missing a zero. So I just want to clarify, if we can, in the motion, bar 16 in the amount of 200,000.
So let me go back, and I'm going to ask again for approval of the FY25 bar number 16 project design construction for 200,000.
Yep, that's it.
Can I get a motion? Motion from Commissioner Taylor. Yeah, and we'll include the correction. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner McElroy. All in favor?
Aye.
It carries unanimously, and an emphasis on the 200,000.
Thank you, Commissioner.
You got it. Thank you. And then now we'll go on to 10. We're almost done, so we can take pictures and cut the cake and do all that good stuff. Propose amendments to Commission Policy Number 6, role and responsibilities of the Secretary.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, again, Steve Hamilton, General Counsel. As the Commission knows, and just to enlighten new Commissioner McElroy, we are in a process, and have been for some years, of regularly going through Commission policies and proposing amendments to them as needed. This is for information only. This will be brought up for a vote at a later Commission meeting. We have two policies here. I'll deal with them both since it's just an informational item. The first one is Commission Policy Number 6, which deals with the roles and responsibilities of Secretary of Transportation. The only thing we've done here is the description of the roles and the powers and duties of the Secretary that's set forth in the rule, set forth in the policy, is not really comprehensive in terms of describing all the things that the Secretary does. So we added a subparagraph E, which is a catch-all provision, says he exercise other powers and perform other duties as provided by law. That's the only change to Commission Policy Number 6 of any substance. The second one has to do with Commission Policy Number 30, which has to do with the role of the Office of Inspector General within the department. Here there are no substantive changes. There's just a few corrections as to wording, the designation of the statutes and regulations that apply, and otherwise it has no substantive change in it. So those are the two recommendations we have as to those two policies going forward, and we'll bring an action item as to both of them at subsequent meetings.
Comments? We have a question. Commissioner McElroy.
Where are these commission policies housed? I mean, I looked on the website and they're not on there.
I believe they are, actually. They are on the website. After the meeting, I guess we can tell you where they are. Okay. But they are on the website.
I put in a search item and it didn't.
Administrative directives are in there also. Those are the two things that are really the guidance principles of both the department and the commission.
Okay. Well, if we could take a look at the website, and I'll get with you after.
Sure.
Secretary Serna.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner, it may be that they're located on Intrans, so we'll have to get him, Commissioner McElroy, the credentials so that he can do remote access.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Mr. Secretary Serna. It is on Intrans.
Yes, go ahead.
You're looking at the agenda. You're looking at past agendas for quite some time. I went through there and picked out areas over the last couple of years and the last 3 years maybe. And what I kind of noticed on the agenda is it's a little bit light on construction, roadway construction investments that we're doing on our infrastructure. And I guess what I mean by that is major construction projects. In the past, at least when I was part of the department and coming to these commission meetings for a long period of time, we were always those were always on the commission agendas. And what it was a major investment project within a district, or major investment projects, plural within a district. It included all districts. And then also major change orders, whatever happened within that period of time, a 2-month period of time, or 1 month. Back then it was 1 month between commission meetings. Maybe $1 million change order, and reasons why that change order was made, and why the project, some of the changes in the project. And I guess I think it would be good if the commission kind of saw some of that, because there's a lot of things that go on in the construction projects through the course of a project, and I think it would be good if that was redeveloped and placed in the agenda. And I think the other thing that I would make a comment on is I know in working in the private sector, I know the contractors, and I saw it with the department while I was with the department, and then afterwards, regarding payments, regarding timely payments. It's just like anything else, when you do work and you submit a bill to somebody, then you expect to be paid. You put on the bill, it's due in 15 days, 20 days, whatever it is. And so I think I kind of would like to see something, at least from the construction side, and I don't know, one of the other commissioners can correct me if I'm kind of out of base on this, but see something from each district as to how we're doing on that. Because if you go to a meeting with the contractors, they'll tell you all the time, it takes forever to get paid. We're doing the work, and the change orders take forever to go through. Those kind of things. So I think if something can be developed, or maybe something already is developed, it's just not being shown here. But I think that would be good for all of us to see and to kind of understand where some of this stuff's going on. I mean, you've got major investment projects. Drove through one yesterday, obviously, the Montgomery to Comanche project that's going on. And you're probably looking at March. It's probably a 6-month period. The beginning of that, the project started in August, in March you're going to have a 6-month period. It'd be good to kind of have information as to how the project's going, what kind of issues have come up on the project, you know, how we're doing as far as staying within budget, or we're going to have to start paying out some money, you know, for change orders or those kind of things. So I think it'd be good to have that. I mean, you've got the Raton Pass entrance into the state of New Mexico. You know, we've been there for 4 or 5 years, and we spent a lot of money there. So I think it'd be good to have information like that presented to the commission. And every district has that. I mean, we have it down there in District 1. I mean, you got Main Street that's going on in the city of Las Cruces right now, and then also the Williamsburg project that is close to being completed. Those kind of projects that, you know, I think it'd be good to see how we're doing on those projects, how the contractor did time-wise, those kind of things. And you know, I think it's not to you know, point fingers at anybody. I think we all have to look at our processes, whatever process it is, like paying contractors. You know, can we do something better? I mean, that's the whole idea, is just to get better. And I think those kind of things would be good to see on a commission agenda.
So, Commissioner, you'd like to see like the tracking part, like on time, on budget, and what I mean by on time, on budget, which we know is looking at payments, looking at this, and also looking at time frames, and so if it's all right with the secretary, why don't I leave it up to you to get with the secretary and you guys figure out what information we need and how it be presented, and whether it's by district or it's a whole report. But if you guys can work on it, and then at the next commission meeting we can.
I think with Mo's involvement, and then you've got Tisha taking care of the construction bureau. I think those kind of things, and then I think the other thing, and I probably didn't mention it here right now, but I mean, I think it'd be a good idea if we visited a little bit with David and Mo also on the letting schedule. I mean, I know you guys are going to get hit every time, and by the contractors. You know, we need a stable letting schedule, so we know what's coming up, and we can make commitments as to what we have to go. We get line of credit, those kind of things for a contractor to be able to do business. Because you know, the bottom line is the contractors are partners, just like the design consultants. They're partners with the DOT, and you know, we have to work with them and try to. They need to meet our needs, but we also need to meet their needs, because they're in business to make money. And I was told that a long time ago. You know, when you make payments to a contractor, you know, the idea is to get it out there, because they're in business to make money, and we have to recognize that. We can't sit back and say, well, you know, they're the contractor, and you know, they're our foe. They're not our foe. They're our partner, and we need to work with them. So, you know, same thing with design consultants. We need to do the same thing with them. You know, we need to be business friendly, I guess is what I'm saying.
I think those comments are very good, and I think that again, Mr. Secretary Mo, if you work with Commissioner Macro and develop some type of a format that where all this information can be delivered and reported, I think that's wonderful. So you guys get together and figure that part out. That'd be fine. Thank you. Before we adjourn, I want to again thank you all for attending. Thank you for the work you do each and every day. Happy New Year. Be safe. I want to give a shout out also to my other members here on the commission for a job well done, and I appreciate all the work you guys do each and every day for your districts and for the whole state. And I look forward to a very, very productive and 2025. And I think we're full for this first time on the commission in a while. So our secretary, with his leadership and with his staff, I think will good things. We'll be doing those as soon as the secretary figures it out. We'll do those state addresses, because we want to make sure that the employees have as much information as they can as far as things that I know not everything concerns you guys. When I was there, the only thing really I was worried about is our raises and the insurance going up and stuff of that nature. We'll continue to keep you updated on that and any other things. So with that, is there any other comments or questions from fellow commissioners? Is there anyone else to come before this commission? Secretary.
If I can, just kind of something to think about as we all leave here. Going back to one number that I found in Rhonda's report. In FY24, we spent 22,000 hours picking up trash in just District 5. And if you quick math that, that's 10 workers working 40 hours a week for 55 straight weeks, doing nothing but picking up trash. And so it's a staggering number, and I just want to point it out. When I saw the sum of all those, I couldn't believe it. And you can easily multiply that by 6 districts, because each district is doing the same amount of work. And so it's just a reminder that as we're driving around asking questions about why this can't be done on a road, and that guardrail can't be fixed, and there can't be more striping, and we can't do pothole repair, the amount of time, energy, resources, and financial commitment we make just picking trash up, that people don't secure in the beds of their trucks or keep in the trash can in the car. So just a parting kind of reminder that it's a big job.
Thank you, Secretary. With no other business to come before this commission, do I have a motion for adjournment at approximately 10:26?
I will make that motion.
We have that motion from Commissioner Chenoweth. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner McElroy. All in favor? Opposed? We are officially adjourned. And we'll take pictures now.